let's go check on Henry and see if he made it through the night.
He's alive. He looks a little bit more alert than yesterday.
Morning, Henry. Got all your medicine for the morning. All right, Henry. First thing we need to give him is his injection of Banamine. Well, I was just about to give him his shot, which is kind of a fever reducer and pain medicine, but he is trying so hard to get out of here and get over to Hope, and we're hoping that that means he wants to nurse. This will be the first time he's nursed in about 4 days, so we're going to just let him out and see what happens. Okay, Henry, go ahead. He's nursing.
Oh, that is, oh my gosh. That is such a good sign. Oh my gosh. Wow. He's hungry.
You guys have no idea what a good sign this is. This is the first time he's nursed in 4 days. 2 days ago, the vet told us to prepare for him to die, that they didn't think he was going to make it through the night. So the fact that he's doing this well this morning, I don't have to give him this injection, is amazing. We've got quite a story to tell you guys.
Kitty, kitty, kitty. You kitty, 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 kitty. She's afraid of the cows. You kitty, 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 kitty. You kitty, 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 kitty. Now this is something none of you have ever seen from us, is us call a cat, because we are really not cat people. When we first moved onto the homestead, we got 3 cats that we hoped would be barn cats for us, and it just didn't work out. They were too friendly, too tame. We actually have a video talking about why we don't keep cats on the homestead. But about a month ago, this cat showed up at the house, and we thought, you know, maybe we should try this again. She's definitely an outside cat, wants nothing to do with coming inside the house, is just skittish enough that we don't think that this is going to be a problem having her as a barn cat. So we brought her back to the larger part of our farm to be a barn cat. And Kevin's mom loves cats. She has several in the little house here. She has named her, the cat, Patches, because it looks a lot like one of her childhood cats. So on and off now, you'll be seeing Patches in and out of the videos as she comes around. She comes around just, you know, a couple times a day and then goes about her business, catching mice and hanging out. She's been a good cat so far. She's just friendly enough to want to be petted a couple times a day, but then that's enough. And she goes on with her business. So this is Patches.
Well, we had the injection ready for him this morning. We had this ready for him this morning. This is called DiaQ. This is a nutritional supplement, and we've been giving this to him through a funnel. Right now, Henry has in his side what's called a trocar. A trocar is like an air vent that goes in his side into his stomach. We'll fill you in on all the details later, but basically it gives us a direct access to his stomach. So for the last 4 days, every 12 hours, we've been having to pour this DiaQ through this funnel into that port directly into his stomach. It hasn't really been that difficult to do because really he hasn't gotten up. He hasn't wanted to move much. But this morning, I don't know. It seems like a miracle happened overnight. So let's go sit down and we'll tell you the story. Well, we've got a lot to catch you guys up on. It has been a pretty crazy last 4 or 5 days here on the homestead. It all started last Thursday morning, which you guys are seeing this on Wednesday. Today is actually Monday. So this started 4 days ago on Thursday. We came down Thursday morning to do our normal chores. We let all of the animals out. We were getting ready to feed Hope and her calves. And Hope and Hudson came up to the barn and they're ready to be fed like normal, but we couldn't find Henry. We looked out in the pasture, we couldn't find him anywhere, and you know, after about 10 minutes of just kind of waiting to see if he'll come up, we just couldn't find him.
We actually had considered just going about our day because a lot of times right away in the morning the calves will wake up and they'll drink a lot. They'll like have breakfast, they'll nurse from Hope, and then they'll go lay down and have a big nap. And so we had contemplated just going about our day because we thought, you know, Henry was just somewhere in the woods laying down and having a nap. But Kevin had a strange feeling about what was going on, and we decided to go look for him just to make sure everything was okay.
Yeah, Hope was kind of mooing, almost like she was trying to call Henry, and he wasn't coming, which is pretty abnormal. So yeah, I did have a weird feeling that something just wasn't right. So we started to walk around. We walked the perimeter of the pasture. We couldn't find him. At the edge of our pasture, there's actually a big slope that goes down into a holler, and I figured, well, he must have, you know, worked his way down there. And a lot of times they'll go down to the bottom there and kind of curl up underneath a cedar tree or something to sleep. So I wasn't too concerned, but we started to walk down a trail looking for him, and we could hear some movement, so we knew that we were getting close to where he was. Right. So after about 10 minutes or so, we finally found him. And when I found him, I instantly knew that something bad was going on, because he was, I mean, Henry is normally, say, about like this wide, and he was about this wide. He was bloated, extremely bloated, probably 3 times the size of what he normally is. And he was all the way down in the bottom of that holler, and he was just standing there. You could tell he was in pain. He wasn't, you know, walking at all. He was just standing there in a lot of pain.
He doesn't normally let us get very close to him, but he let Kevin come right up behind him. He wasn't feeling well at all, and we really had to really encourage him to go up the hill so we could try to get him up in the pasture, back up by the barn, so we could take a better look at him.
Yeah, and once we got him up to the barn, we knew, I mean, things were not good, because he wasn't really moving at all.
He was having labored breathing, and he was kind of grunting every once in a while that he was in pain. So we knew right away that we needed to call the vet and see if he could get out here as soon as possible to help Henry.
Yeah. And actually, when we called, he was already in with a patient that morning, but pretty much he said, sounds like it's urgent, and I'll be there within about 20 minutes. So it was really only about 20 minutes after we found, or 20 minutes after we got back up to the barn that the vet was here on site helping us.
When the vet came out and when he arrived, he instantly let us know that we were right, that Henry was bloated. He didn't really know why. We didn't really know why all of a sudden our calf would be bloated, but what needed to happen is we needed to get him some relief.
Right, so he gave us a couple options of things we could do. He could either use a tube to try to go down, and put the tube down into Henry's stomach and just let all of that air out and then hope that he wouldn't bloat again after the vet left. Or he could insert that trocar, which is at the port on the side, and that would actually stay in for a few days and prevent bloating because it actually won't allow the stomach to, build back up with all that pressure. So we opted to go that route and have the trocar put in.
He also put in some medication that would make the gas kind of go away. He said it was really just kind of a watch and wait situation, and he instructed us that in 5 days, which is today, to take that trocar out, and he thought everything would be fine.
Right, so we really didn't think much of it. We went about our day that day, and then Friday morning, the next day, we came down to do chores again.
He didn't really look ill in any way, so we decided to just let him be, see how things go, and come back in the late afternoon and check back on him.
Friday evening, Henry was not doing well at all. He wouldn't lift his head up. He wouldn't get up off the ground. He just looked terrible. In fact, we knew that something had happened throughout that day to really make him take a turn for the worse.
It was evident that he was really dehydrated also. His eyes were sunken in, and we had been watching him. He hadn't drank from Hope. He wasn't even getting up enough to, get a drink. So we were really concerned, and we called the vet again.
Yeah, and the vet basically told us this wasn't a good sign. It wasn't good at all that he wasn't starting to get better from the bloat. He was actually getting worse. He gave us a few options of things that he thought it could be, and he basically gave us some medicine to start trying, and we were doing all of those at a regular interval. But honestly, the vet told us that there was a good chance that Henry wouldn't make it until Saturday morning. We were surprised when we came back down Saturday morning and he was still alive.
Not only was he still alive, but he was in a different place in the barn than he was when we left. So
Right.
We knew at one point he had at least gotten up one time
Right.
to get up, move around, and go lay back down and end up in a different place. So we were just slightly encouraged, but we knew that there was still a long road ahead of him. So after we realized that Henry was still alive on Saturday morning, we called the vet back just to check in and to see what his recommendation was for further treatment. And he was very pleased to hear that our calf had made it overnight. And he said, come on into town. We'll get a bunch of things ready for you so you can start trying to get this calf back in good health.
Really, all day Saturday and Sunday was just a matter of, trying to keep him alive. So the main thing we were doing is trying to make sure he didn't get dehydrated. So we were actually using that nutritional supplement and a funnel to pour that into the trocar on his side, and we were giving him a half gallon of that every 12 hours. It was a pretty concentrate stuff, but we couldn't get a lot in him, but we were able to get a half gallon in every 12 hours.
Right, and that seemed to get him through.
And then by Sunday afternoon, he started to perk up just a little bit.
Just a little.
Right, I mean, he still wasn't anywhere near acting like how a calf should act, but he was starting to perk up a little bit. And last night, when we were putting him back into the barn for the night, he actually stopped by the salt lick that we've out for all the cows, and he actually licked on it for a little while, which seemed encouraging.
Right, he also took a really big drink of water, and that was also the first time that we saw him urinate, and a lot. So
Right.
That was a huge sign that he was not dehydrated, that we were heading in the right direction, and him wanting to lick that salt and get some of those minerals was also another great sign.
After that, we put him back in the barn Sunday night. We gave him, everything that we needed to give him again, and that leaves us off where you guys just saw a little while ago, us coming to check on him Monday morning, and lo and behold, he's doing a lot better.
Right. He had a lot more strength and energy this morning and was basically forcing himself out of the barn to try to get to Hope and have his first meal since Thursday.
After he had that big drink this morning, we've just kind of left him alone, and we've, given him a few hours to kind of settle back down. We've been keeping an eye on him, but he's definitely acting a lot better today. And now the next thing that we have to do today, even though we don't really want to, is take that trocar out. The vet said 5 days is really pushing it. It really shouldn't even be in that long, and so 5 days is the max that has to come out today. So that's what we're gonna do now, is we're gonna go try to take that out and just see how it goes. Let's shut this. So now that we have Henry in the barn where he's secluded from everybody else, first thing we're going to do is try to clean up around that trocar, that tube that's in him, and then we're going to try to remove it. We've never done it before, but the vet has told us what to do. Basically, it's like a big corkscrew. We watched the vet put it in, so it's like a screw that goes in. We'll just basically unscrew it and pull it out. And then that will leave kind of an open wound there for a few days, but the vet said it's no big deal, that'll just heal over and everything should be fine.
Henry is a lot more lively now than he has been in the last 4 days. So this might be a little bit interesting to try to get him to stand still enough for us to do this, but between the two of us, we'll just have to hold him the best that we can and get this done.
Hopefully it goes quickly and smoothly.
Right. Well, this is not the fun part, but I'm just gonna see if we can wet this through this hole. His rumen and all the stomach contents in that part of the stomach have just been able to drain out whenever they've needed to. So that's why this is so dirty here. This is just rumen and stomach contents. Rumen is basically like stomach acid.
So we're not going to get it perfect, but
Right.
Hopefully we can clean it up a little bit before we take this out.
Right.
I don't think this is absolutely necessary. The vet didn't say we have to do this, but it kind of makes you feel better to...
Well, the other thing is he's still on antibiotics every 48 hours, and we've got, I think, 1 or 2 more doses yet to give him as prescribed by
Right,
the vet. So hopefully that will help prevent any infection also in the skin when we take this trocar out.
All right, so now that we have that all cleaned up, we're going to try to take this out. Hopefully it just comes out pretty easily. You ready?
Yeah. There you go. Okay.
There it is.
Okay.
All right, so that is what has been inside of him for the last 5 days, or about 4.5 days. That's what we've been feeding him through.
And that's what air has been escaping through to prevent him from bloating again.
So we've got that out. I think what we're going to do now is leave him in here for a little while to kind of relax, chill out a little bit, and we'll see how he's doing in about an hour or so. And if he's doing okay, we'll let him back out by Hope. And hopefully everything will just go smoothly from here on out. How you doing, Henry? Let's go see how he's doing. How you doing, Henry? He's taking a nap. Well, I don't think he feels 100%, that's for sure. But hopefully he continues to improve. The fact that he's made it now 5 days, I think, is a very good sign. We're just going to have to really keep a close eye on him. Well, we've decided to leave Henry in for a while yet. Maybe we'll let him back out this evening so he can nurse some more. But right now, we've decided just to let him rest because our other calf, Hudson, he really wants to play with Henry. Henry doesn't want any part of playing right now, so I think it's better to leave them separated just so Henry can really get some rest.
While he has made a lot of positive strides with recovering from whatever it is that is going on, we still have a huge hurdle to overcome. Now that that trocar is out, there's a possibility that he could bloat again, and I'm not really sure what I'm not really sure what can be done at that point.
Right. If he bloats again, I don't think they can put another one of these trocars in right away. At least it didn't sound like it from what the vet was saying. So Sarah's right.
We're not at the end of the road.
Right. We're hoping this isn't false hope that he's doing better today.
Right, you guys. So we'd appreciate you keeping us in your prayers. This is our first calf, we just want for him to do well and grow up to be a great steer.
Hope and Hudson are both doing really well, and all of our beef cattle are doing really well. So we're just hoping that Henry will pull through this as well and be able to, grow up to be a nice steer.
But we'll keep you guys updated, so make sure you stick around for that. But right now, we need to move on to other things on the homestead today. So this is where we'll end today's video. We so appreciate you guys coming to visit us on the homestead.
If you're not a subscriber to our channel yet, we hope that you'll hit the subscribe button before you leave. If you know other people who would enjoy our content, we always tell you guys the best way you can help us is to share our videos on all of your social media. That would help us so much. Until next time, thank you so much for stopping by our homestead. Take care, and God bless.
God bless.